Right, so I'm up here today, got to resolve a problem with something. Has pecked a hole right here, and we've got to try to fill this hole, stop this before we paint this house right here. Kind of like a lot of different ways you can resolve this problem. I'm going to show you how I'm going to resolve it. So they're trying to access the attic, you know, up there, and there's a big huge void space back there. What you don't want to do is just take and start pumping a bunch of, you know, caulking or sealant down there, because it's just going to start filling down there. It's just going to fill that whole thing up. Who knows, you could end up pumping maybe a half a tube of sealant down in there, which would be just a waste, and it's just not the proper way to actually fill that. The proper way is take backer rods. This piece of backer rod fits that space very well, so I'll just cut this piece of backer rod, you know, put it there. This is a piece of hybrid backer rod from Sashco. Now what this does is it won't absorb water, and the sealant or caulking won't stick to it. What you want is the sealant or caulking to stick to the two sides, the two edges. That way any expansion and contraction, it can stretch and flex. I got a couple different options. This is Sashco Slab. It's a concrete sealant. We use it for concrete, we use it for stucco. It is textured. Once I got up here, I noticed the previous sealant that was used up here is smooth. So if I use slab, it's not gonna match what's there existing. It is up against stucco, but then it's up against the soffit right here. So we don't wanna use slab. This would have been a great option if all of that was actually textured. So I'm gonna end up using Sashco's Big Stretch right here. Big Stretch bonds extremely well, has a lot of flex, has a lot of stretch. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I do this. I'm just gonna take this backer rod. This is, once again, extremely important step to actually, you know, stuff this backer rod in there. You can cut it with a knife, just take and rip it with your hands. It rips pretty easily. So I'm gonna stuff this backer rod down in there far enough now that I can get just a nice bead of sealant over the top of that. This smaller hole probably could get away with almost no backer rod, but it would be better just throw some backer rod in there. So once again, this is a hybrid backer rod that our sealant won't stick to from Sashco. They got different sizes. They got smaller backer rod than this, larger backer rod. Now I'm just gonna tool this, put a nice coat of Big Stretch on here and seal this up. So I don't want to get any on the stucco. I don't want to smooth out that stucco. So I'm going to be very careful. Just use the pad of my finger to smooth that out, just like that. I'm going to use bigger pad of this finger to match that existing spot right there. Now that spot is correctly resolved using Big Stretch and backer rod. I've dealt with these woodpeckers in our area up here, pecking holes in houses, literally pecking them in stucco, because this right here behind here is just foam behind here. They'll peck holes, dig in the foam, dig out the foam, they'll nest. I did a home up in the foothills. It had probably 300 holes in the stucco, and the woodpeckers were just destroying the house. If you see this, you definitely want to stop that bird, somehow trap, relocate that bird. There are like sound devices that distract, you know, the woodpeckers from coming. The one house had these loud, you know, sound devices. There's a product you can put in the paint that smells that the woodpeckers and our birds, varmints don't like. Once we patch this, fix it, we want the customer to know, hey, keep an eye on that. Make sure, you know, this varmint doesn't actually get inside the house and make a nest, have babies. And the multiplication process is only just going to be worse once more and more babies come back and do the same thing. So I'm going to take some backer rod. This piece of backer rod actually fits that space very well. Whoa. Thanks.